Today, we're venturing into one of the most mysterious and isolated places on Earth, Greenland. In Greenland, the giant island where women do strange things to men, we'll explore its unique traditions, captivating landscapes, and the cultural practices that have intrigued travelers for centuries. From the roles of men and women in this harsh environment to how survival and culture are deeply intertwined, Greenland's secrets are waiting to be discovered. Get ready to uncover the fascinating world of this icy wilderness. Let's dive in. But wait, before we dive fully into this, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on our future amazing content. And hit the like button. Greenland, the giant island where women do strange things to men. Travel documentary. 1. The origin of Greenland's name, a medieval marketing strategy. Imagine a time when the world was still largely unexplored and mythic lands beckoned adventurers from every corner. In the 10th century, Greenland was an untouched frontier. But how did it get its name, especially when over 80% of it is covered in ice? The story begins with a man whose name has become synonymous with adventure and a touch of deception. Eric the Red, a larger-than-life figure exiled from Iceland for a series of violent feuds, found himself in a precarious position. Seeking to establish a new life and gather followers, he ventured to the shores of Greenland and dubbed it Grönland, or Greenland, in a clever attempt to draw settlers. The name, a powerful marketing ploy, worked like a charm. It painted Greenland as a lush, fertile paradise waiting to be cultivated. Ironically, while the island once had more green patches, today its vast icy expanse offers little to nourish the imagination. Only the harsh and cold reality of the Arctic. However, the brilliance of Eric's move is undeniable. The name Greenland still holds power today, echoing the hope and promise of a land full of possibility, despite the stark contrast to the frozen tundra we know today. It speaks to the human drive to find something better, something new, even in the most desolate places. The name's persistence is a testament to the resilience and vision of both Eric and those who followed him into the frigid unknown. 2. Wife swapping among the Inuit, a tradition of social bonds. In a world where most of us might think of relationships as private and personal, imagine a culture where such boundaries are blurred in the name of survival and solidarity. This is the surprising reality in the traditional Inuit societies of Greenland, where wife swapping was a cultural norm that reinforced community ties and ensured survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. It wasn't about pleasure or desire, but about solidarity and strength. In the unforgiving Arctic, where survival depended on cooperation and shared resources, this practice helped maintain harmony and balance between families and clans. When times were tough, as they often were in the winter months, exchanging spouses could be seen as an act of goodwill. It strengthened alliances, cemented friendships, and ensured that resources, whether food, warmth, or emotional support, were shared equally. It was a social contract of sorts, an acknowledgement that the community's survival depended on mutual aid. While the practice may seem unfathomable to modern minds, it provides an extraordinary window into how people adapted to their environment in ways that modern societies might struggle to comprehend. Even today, many aspects of this deep-rooted practice can still be found in the way Inuit communities interact. The legacy of interdependence, respect, and mutual benefit that grew from such practices offers a glimpse into a different way of understanding relationships, one where the collective good was always placed above the individual. In understanding this tradition, we come to appreciate the ingenious ways human beings find to survive and thrive under extreme conditions. 3. U.S. interest in Greenland, strategic land or geopolitical gamble. Greenland has long been a place of geopolitical fascination, though most people know it as a frozen wasteland at the top of the world. In reality, its significance goes far beyond its icebergs. For centuries, Greenland has been caught in the crosshairs of global power struggles. The United States, especially, has had a keen interest in the island since the mid-20th century, largely due to its strategic location. In 1947, during the height of the Cold War, President Harry Truman recognized Greenland's value as a military asset. The U.S. offered Denmark $100 million to purchase the island, an offer that was ultimately rejected. The United States understood Greenland's proximity to the Soviet Union and the critical role it could play in surveillance, defense, and intelligence gathering. The U.S. military quickly set up bases, most notably the Thule Air Base, which became a critical outpost during the Cold War. Even today, the base plays a key role in missile defense and early warning systems, keeping an eye on threats far beyond Greenland's icy shores. Fast forward to 2019, and President Donald Trump, in his characteristic bold style, reignited the conversation by publicly suggesting that the U.S. should purchase Greenland. The offer was rejected by Denmark, but the notion lingered, highlighting the strategic importance of the island. As climate change melts away the Arctic's ice, the region is becoming more accessible, turning Greenland into an even more crucial asset. Its resources, oil, minerals, and even access to new shipping lanes, are increasingly valuable in a world where the Arctic is becoming the next geopolitical frontier. Greenland's position between North America and Europe gives it unparalleled significance, turning this remote island into a geopolitical chess piece whose fate might decide much more than just local matters. 4. Navigating Greenland's harsh conditions. From snow blindness to survival. Step outside in Greenland, and you'll be facing more than just cold temperatures. You'll be fighting nature itself. While snow blindness might sound like a minor inconvenience, it's a very real threat in this land of eternal snow and ice. The condition occurs when ultraviolet light is reflected off the white snow, essentially burning the sensitive tissue of your eyes. With the sun's rays relentlessly bouncing off the icy surface, even a brief exposure can result in extreme pain, vision distortion, and even permanent damage to your sight if you're not careful. In the summer months, Greenland's Arctic regions experience the midnight sun, a period when daylight never fades. This constant glare intensifies the risk of snow blindness, with the sunlight reflecting off ice and snow 24/7. If you're not prepared, a brief trip outside can feel like staring into the sun, blinding you to everything around you. This is a danger that people here take seriously, and the Inuit developed ingenious methods to protect themselves, most notably by crafting snow goggles from materials like bone, wood, and even ivory. These goggles, designed to block the sun's rays while still allowing enough light to see, were an essential tool for survival. The Inuit understood the risks of the environment intimately, and they adapted their lives to combat these challenges. But snow blindness is just one of many obstacles that those living in Greenland face. The land is vast, remote, and lacks the infrastructure we often take for granted. With no roads linking towns or villages, getting from one place to another in Greenland can be an adventure in itself. People rely on boats and airplanes, navigating turbulent waters and unpredictable weather. In the winter, dog sledding is still a popular and practical way to move through the frozen landscape. Survival in Greenland is not about convenience. It's about resilience, ingenuity, and a deep connection to the land. The Inuit, living in this land for centuries, have learned to make use of every tool and trick at their disposal, from hunting to navigating the land's perils. Living here means adapting to nature's extreme challenges and becoming part of the rhythm of the environment, where every step is a battle between the forces of nature and the will to survive. 5. Greenland's extreme sports. Testing the limits of endurance. Greenland isn't just a destination for adventure. It's a proving ground for those daring enough to push the boundaries of human endurance. Among the island's most extreme challenges is the Arctic Circle Race, a brutal 3-day cross-country skiing competition. But this isn't a race for the faint-hearted. Participants will find themselves gliding through some of the most unforgiving terrain on the planet. The course spans up to 160 kilometers across vast stretches of snow-covered mountains and glaciers, where temperatures often dip below -20 degrees Celsius, and winds whip through the air with bone-chilling force. But it's not just about the physical toughness required to endure those freezing conditions. There's a mental fortitude that's equally necessary. Skiers must be self-sufficient, camping out in the harsh wilderness, cooking their own meals over an open flame, and navigating through unpredictable Arctic storms. Every hour of the race demands intense focus, resilience, and an unwavering drive to complete the journey. But the Arctic Circle Race is only one part of Greenland's extreme sports culture. The island is also home to one of the world's toughest marathons, held in the remote town of Wanderlust. The marathon's course is nothing short of grueling, taking runners over rugged mountain passes, icy plains, and even through rivers that freeze and thaw with the changing seasons. The altitude, the bone-crushing terrain, and the ever-present threat of hypothermia make it a race like no other. For the athletes who dare take on these challenges, the rewards aren't just physical. They become part of a legacy forged in one of Earth's most extreme environments. 6. The midnight sun, a phenomenon of eternal daylight. Picture a place where the sun refuses to set. In Greenland, during the midnight sun, this isn't a fantasy, it's a reality. For up to 6 months, the northern regions of Greenland are bathed in an eerie perpetual daylight. The sun hovers just above the horizon, circling around the sky like a slow-moving clock, never dipping below it. It's a surreal experience. Imagine waking up to daylight at 3 a.m. and seeing it persist all night long. The endless sunlight bathes the land in a golden hue that makes the stark, icy landscape look almost dreamlike. It's as if time itself is suspended in this otherworldly light. However, while the midnight sun can be breathtaking, it also comes with its own set of challenges. The constant daylight plays tricks on your body's internal clock, making it difficult to find restful sleep. In Greenland's more northern regions, the sun doesn't set for months on end. And for many residents, this constant illumination can disrupt sleep patterns and even trigger sleep disorders. The psychological effects of such prolonged light exposure are real, with some people developing what's called seasonal affective disorder, SAD. This form of depression is linked to the disruption of natural rhythms, and while some embrace the unique experience of living in a place where the sun never sets, others struggle to adjust to the relentless daylight. The midnight sun is a fascinating phenomenon, but it underscores the challenges of living in an environment so profoundly different from the rest of the world. Oh, and by the way, I know you're liking this video already. Go ahead right now and show me some love by hitting the like button. Done. All right, let's continue. 7. The absence of roads. Greenland's unique transportation challenges. In a land where the landscape is dominated by vast stretches of glaciers, jagged mountains, and endless ice, building roads just doesn't make sense. Greenland, the world's largest island, is a place where transportation relies not on highways and cars, but on boats, dog sleds, and airplanes. With no roads linking its towns or settlements, Greenland's infrastructure is as unconventional as the landscape itself. In the summer months, the only way to reach another village is by boat, navigating through icy waters that are as wild and unpredictable as the island's weather. But this option is only available for a short time before the waters freeze again, leaving people to rely on their sled dogs and the traditional art of dog sledding to get around in winter. The absence of roads creates a fascinating contrast to our everyday lives, where getting from one place to another is usually a simple task. In Greenland, every journey becomes an adventure, one that demands careful planning, flexibility, and adaptability. The weather is the ultimate ruler here. Flights can be delayed or canceled, boats may be trapped in ice, and sledding paths can change from day to day depending on the conditions. For those who live on Greenland, traveling isn't just a means to an end. It's a vital part of the rhythm of life, an ongoing dance with nature's unpredictable forces. 8. Polar bears and climate change. A struggle for survival. In the wild expanse of Greenland's icy landscapes, The polar bear reigns as one of the most powerful and awe-inspiring creatures. However, the fate of these majestic animals is intertwined with the rapidly changing climate, and their struggle for survival is becoming increasingly dire. The very ice that polar bears depend on to hunt for seals, their primary food source, is melting at an unprecedented rate. The Arctic is warming faster than any other place on Earth, and the consequences are catastrophic. As the sea ice retreats, polar bears are forced to travel farther and longer to find food. Their traditional hunting grounds are shrinking, and with each day that passes, they must swim longer distances, a perilous journey that leaves them exhausted and at times unable to find the sustenance they need. Some polar bears have adapted, moving on to freshwater ice that breaks off from glaciers, but this behavior is still in its early stages and is not enough to stem the tide of a rapidly changing environment. The struggle doesn't stop there. The melting ice also exposes polar bears to increased human activity, from oil exploration to tourism, further threatening their habitats and their way of life. These powerful creatures, so deeply connected to the Arctic landscape, now face a future uncertain and fraught with danger. As climate change accelerates, the survival of the polar bear and countless other species hangs in the balance, and the outcome will have a ripple effect on the entire ecosystem of the Arctic region. The sight of a polar bear drifting on a shrinking ice floe is now an all too familiar image, a haunting reminder that the Arctic's delicate balance is in jeopardy. 9. Melting ice in Greenland, a global concern. Greenland's vast ice sheet, second only in size to Antarctica's, is one of the most significant natural features on the planet. It holds a staggering amount of frozen freshwater, and its fate has global implications. Each year, Greenland loses around 270 billion tons of ice, a rate that has dramatically increased in recent decades due to rising global temperatures. The result: rising sea levels that threaten coastal communities worldwide. Greenland's ice sheet contributes about 30 to 35% of the total increase in sea levels, and as it melts, low-lying islands and coastal cities are at greater risk of flooding, especially in regions like Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. The impact of this melting ice is already being felt around the world. From more frequent and intense storms to the displacement of millions of people, the consequences of Greenland's ice loss are profound. For Greenland itself, the melting ice is both a symbol of its vulnerability and a testament to the power of climate change. As the ice retreats, the land beneath is exposed, giving rise to new landscapes and ecosystems, but also presenting challenges. Rising temperatures not only disrupt the delicate balance of the local environment, but also change the way people live in Greenland, affecting everything from traditional hunting practices to infrastructure. This isn't just an environmental crisis, it's a human one. The melting ice sheet is a vivid reminder that the future of our planet depends on urgent global action to combat climate change. Greenland, once a remote and largely untouched part of the world, is now on the front lines of the climate battle, its fate intertwined with the rest of the planet's. 10. Greenland's wildlife. Adaptation in the face of change. Greenland's wildlife, from the majestic polar bear to the elusive Arctic fox, has long been a symbol of the Arctic's extreme resilience. In this frozen wilderness, animals have evolved remarkable traits to survive the cold and often desolate conditions. Polar bears, for instance, possess thick fur and a dense layer of fat beneath their skin, an adaptation that allows them to withstand the frigid temperatures of the Arctic. Their keen sense of smell helps them track down seals beneath the ice, ensuring they can find food even in the most remote corners of the island. Reindeer, another iconic species, are built for the harsh conditions of Greenland's tundra. Their hooves are wide and tough, allowing them to traverse deep snow with ease. Their fur is dense and their blood is uniquely adapted to retain heat, which helps them survive the region's bitter winters. But these animals are not immune to the changes brought about by climate change. As the ice melts and ecosystems shift, food sources are becoming scarcer, and the animals that once thrived in this land are struggling to adapt. Arctic foxes, for example, are facing increasing competition from red foxes, which are moving into the area as the climate warms. Greenland's marine life is just as diverse, with the cold waters of the North Atlantic serving as home to numerous whale species, including the magnificent blue whale, the largest animal on the planet. The narwhal, with its long, spiral tusk, is another species that has captured the imagination of many. Yet, like the land-dwelling animals, these marine creatures are facing unprecedented challenges. As sea temperatures rise and ice flows melt, the migration patterns and food availability for these whales are disrupted, threatening their survival. The future of Greenland's wildlife hangs in the balance, as climate change continues to reshape the very fabric of life in this icy paradise. The animals that call this place home are not just survivors of the harshest environment on Earth. They are witnesses to the profound transformation taking place in the world around them. Let us have your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us. If you found this information enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content about cities and cultures from around the world.